BSG, and whenever our amazing tech guy is ready, we can start. I'll start on race timing, actually. That's probably the best. This is race timing. Anyways, this is also Kirby Superstar Ultra, and this is a game mode in Kirby Superstar Ultra called Meta Nightmare Ultra. And whenever you're ready, Jasper. Okay, I'll keep talking for a bit. So in this game mode, we play as Meta Knight instead of Kirby because Meta Knight is awesome. So anyways, I can see that we're ready. So in 3, 2, 1, go. So right off the bat, you'll notice that whenever I defeat an enemy by using my sword, I get these little blue balls flying towards me. Those are points, and I will be using them throughout the run. And one of its main uses is for what I just used right now. This is called Meta Quick. It speeds you up by a bunch. Costs about 8 points, and it's probably the most useful ability we have throughout this run. Well, I guess you can call these power-ups. I don't care. Or skills. I don't know what the English translation calls them. Anyways, that was Wispy. Hard boss. Another thing about points is that the maximum amount of points you can have at any time is 50. So, it's not that much, but it'll work. Well, it's actually a decent amount, but it'll work for our purposes. So I got 26 points, which is perfect, so I don't need to get the points from Frosty here. I can just skip them. I want to try and have at least that amount. At least that amount before we start this fight. So this is another ability. This is Mac Tornado. What it does is it deals about 190 damage to everything on screen. How much is 190 damage? Well, it's a lot. It basically kills everything on it. It costs about 30 points. So the main thing about about this route is that you need to balance your points for mana quick use and tornado uses. There we go. So a quick overview of how many points you get from things. From regular enemies you get 1 point. From enemies that have abilities you get 2 points. From special enemies you get 3. For mid-bosses you usually get 5. And from normal bosses you get 10. Like you can see right here, I'm gonna get 10 points and be at 36 points. So we're almost done with the first level of this game mode. We're gonna kill DDD real quick. Oop, there we go. I do want a bit of a delay before I use my tornado, but that was a little bit much. But it'll work. So, you might notice right now that there's a giant time list in your screen. There we go. So this game has an in-game timer, and we use that one to time our runs usually, because it removes all loads. Also, what it does is it allows you to use Mac Tornadoes a lot more, because for instance, when I pause, the game timer pauses. For some reason, when you pause right here, these disappearing blocks will disappear instantly. So in the in-game time run, we do those pauses, but in the RTA run, we don't. And in the RTA run, we also use less tornadoes, because whenever you use tornado, their game timer pauses, which is pretty nice. And the only reason why we still use in-game time to time is because it's just more fun. It's a little bit of a selfish reason. I think like in-game time purists will say like, oh my god, the game pauses the timer, this is so incorrect and inaccurate, but it's just more fun. It creates a more interesting route in my opinion, so. Also, this is a glitch. You just saw it right there. That was what we call mega jumping. So how it works is I do a dash attack, and I, as quickly as possible, use the Night Call ability that's on the bottom left to call a helper. Now, whenever a helper is called in the middle of your dash when using the touchscreen. For some reason, it interrupts your dash completely, and it resets your state to normal, but it doesn't reset your speed back to 0. So you can just quickly jump so you have less resistance, and that way you can just like go really far, because the very start of a dash is a lot faster than the end. And there we used it again real quick. And again, this is a technique that we only really use in-game time, because the in-game timer actually pauses during the animations, which makes that a lot more worth. Go. Ooh, okay, I'm pretty low on health. There's one other ability I haven't talked about yet, which is heal. It does exactly what you think it does. However, I am an honorable Meta Nightmare Ultra speedrunner, so... instead I'm just gonna not use it. If you ever want to start out with learning this speedrun, I do highly suggest using your heal whenever you're this low. Because, well... not everyone can get through these rooms unscathed and be fast. Also, whenever you die, you lose all of your points, so dying loses a lot more time than using the 10 points for healing. But because the point route is pretty tight, I am going to try and go through this without healing. I might just randomly die to Bugsy. Bugsy likes to jump around randomly. We got a good Bugsy pattern, so don't have to deal much with that. There we go. Grab that one for points. Okay, so my point count is ridiculously high right now, so that's nice. Means I can skip these points right there. Just go straight up here. So here's some health finally, so I feel a little bit more safe. Okay. I got 38 points right now, which is pretty much perfect. It means that I can do an extra meta quick at the end and still have enough for a special tornado. We're gonna go through here. This is where we use the meta quick. And that's perfect. Perfect point count right now. Yeah. Rusty can be really annoying. And here we use Tornado against Bonkers. The only real reason we do this is because this is a mid-boss rush, so we're gonna get a lot more points throughout this section. So it's so we might as well just use them instead of just letting them sit. I didn't get good RNG. If I get the right RNG, I can quick kill this boss fairly easily. Oh, excuse me. You'll see now I have like 30 points, which is exactly enough for the last tornado coming up against this boss. So, when using Tornado, you always want to keep your enemies on screen, but for some reason with Dynablade, you can use Tornado even when only the health bar appears. We don't really know why, but that's how it works, and it's pretty cool. It's a neat little party trick. So that was Dynablade already, and we're gonna go to the next part, and our first RNG moment in the game. Yay, RNG! I love those. Okay, bit of movement. It's actually fairly interesting. A lot of the movement has evolved over the years, and there are a lot of interesting movement parts, but for the most part I feel like with the Great Cave Offensive, there hasn't been too many big changes. A lot of it is still the same movement that Anwanu came up with 4 years ago. Also hardest mid-boss in the game, right there. There we go. So this is Fatty Will. He can do two things. He can jump really far and high like that one, or he can like have a couple of little jumps. For this specific Fatty Will, it doesn't really matter which move he does. So this works fine for me. We're gonna go to the next part. So these minecart sections, the game expects you to go into a minecart and like go through here very slowly, but like I said, it's slow. So instead we just dash through everything, which works a lot better in my opinion. Also gives you a nice point refill. So you might have been noticing that I'm playing in Japanese. Well, the main reason why I'm playing in Japanese is for this upcoming boss. So for some reason in the Japanese version, the text scrolls faster than in the English version. So this boss, which is an RPG reference, becomes about 8 seconds faster than its English counterpart. I guess they thought that English people can read as fast as the Japanese. Also, that was perfect luck and perfect execution on computer values right here. Also, we're getting like a bunch of stats that really don't matter, like mask shine and sword sharpness, with speed, things like that, and coolness. Because Meta Knight is the coolest character in the game. Not the best though. The best is Bandanity. There we go. So this is a developer forced skip. There's an entire level there, but the doors are literally closed. You cannot enter the tower, which is okay. I don't mind it. That tower isn't that amazing of a place. You just skip past it. There we go. Again, a lot of the maze quality of the Great Cave Offensive is removed during Meta Nightmare Ultra, mainly because this game mode is focused on going fast, so the developers were nice to us and were like, yo, let's just remove all these things that slow you down to get to the end. So Wham Bam Rock is pretty easy, 2 slashes and a tornado. We're gonna get a pretty decent time here, which is nice. Also, I don't know what it is with Nintendo and floating hand bosses. There are too many of them. It's a plague. We're gonna up the elevators and go to the end of Level 3, or the Great Cave Offensive. Well, 3:26 is a pretty decent time. I'll take that for a marathon run any day. So this section is in the Kirby part of the game. It's called Revenge of Meta Knight, but we are Meta Knight right now. So there's a lot of like theories that go around my chat usually about why Meta Knight is doing this. My personal favorite is that he is absolutely pissed at his henchmen for not being able to kill Kirby. So he just goes on a rampage and destroys his own ship in the process. My own fan favorite. Probably not the case though, so. Anyways, we're gonna do, I was gonna do another Mega Jump right there, but I failed it. So the thing about the Mega Jump is that it's pretty tough, actually, to perform. It's a very dexterous thing to do. Oop. There we go. Gonna swim down here. We're gonna go into an auto-scroller. Yay! Everyone loves auto-scrollers, right? They're the best. So, yeah, in this auto-scroller, I just, like, could briefly talk about how I started speedrunning this game is actually I started speedrunning this game like 4 years ago already. It's been a long time, and it was just kind of randomly because I was looking. This was actually my first speedrun, and back then it was like, oh dude, I would love to speedrun something, but I had no idea what. I definitely didn't want to run Zelda games, so I was like, oh, let's run this game. It's perfect for speedrunning. And now I currently have the world record in this and everything, and it's awesome. So say hello to Wispy Woods again. A beautiful boss right here. Oh wow, it's so beautiful. We have 2 of them now. There we go. But yeah, I probably won't have the world record for long anymore because the guest is completely destroying me skill based. He only needs like that one good run, and then MKU in general is just dead. I don't see myself being able to defeat his time when he gets it. But yeah, but we'll see. We'll see where we end up. So the thing about Mech Tornado is that the animation suggests that the enemy comes from the center, but the damage actually comes from the last known position of Meta Knight. So you saw the 2 bunkers fly to one side. If it came from the center, you would have expected it to go on both sides. Also, I'm meshing with 2 fingers right there. Pretty cool. Because whenever you flap, the speed at which you mesh at is the speed you go up. And the fun thing about this game is that we have 2 jump buttons, so we just mash both buttons at the same time. And that way you go up a lot faster. It's pretty nice. We barely get over those Gordos. So I currently have a point count of 24, which is absolutely perfect. I'm actually 2 points up what I usually would like to have. You get like 3 points for every one of these Meta Knights, as they're called. And that really puts your point count up way high. So I went a little bit to the right there to get this elevator down. Makes life easier for me. I'm gonna try a little hard thing. Nice, we did that perfectly. That is a lot harder than it looks. So this is a pretty, well, by now it's a month old probably, but it's a pretty recent change in the route. We tornado these 2. And then we have enough points right now for another tornado on the next boss. This is main cannon number 2. The number 2 is a reference to the original version of this game, which is the SNES classic Kirby Superstar. And there it was called the combo cannon, but here it's just main cannon number 2. It's a bit of a cool thing. Ooh, that is okay. I messed up movement right there, but it's fine. There's some very specific movement to get through that room, so you get a good amount of points. That's mainly due to the route change. There we go. $27 points. I'll see how many points I have after Frosty. 32. That should be doable. I can always find a couple of extra points along the way. So this game mode is actually not the first of its kind. In Nightmare in Dreamland, they made the first Meta Nightmare, and it was basically the same idea. You just go through the game as quickly as possible with Meta Knight. Also another old scroller, always fun. And after popular request, I guess, they brought it back in Kirby Superstar Ultra. And quite recently they did it in Planet Robobot as well, actually. They did Meta Knight Returns, which is also a very cool game mode. It actually has a lot of improvements over this version, but I still prefer this version. But that's just me being silly. So again, we tornado Heavy Lobster real quick. Shouldn't die yet. Yep, thought so. Usually he dies from 4 hits, but sometimes he dies from 4, from 3 I mean. Okay. 23 points is a little close, but should be doable. Okay, we got really lucky there and got 2 extra points, so now we're on a really good point count. I want to be 23 at a certain section. So I want to be 23 like right after this enemy, and I'm at 24, so that's nice. Gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Not much, but just a little bit. Now we get to fight against the most boring boss in the game. This is the reactor. Now, as Kirby, you have to guide a laser into the crystal, but luckily, as Meta Knight, you can just use a tornado. Also, in the original Meta Nightmare, you had to defeat yourself at one point. Luckily, in this version, they just end Revenge of Meta Knight right as you defeat the reactor, which is nice. Also, we're going to farm some points right here. So there's an enemy off screen that I'm respawning by walking a little bit to the left every time. And by abusing that, we can quickly gain a lot of points. It's actually something that the TAS found. The TAS is really awesome, by the way. It does a lot of crazy tricks like that that are probably not human reproducible. It's a really awesome TAS. And again, we get to fight against 2 lovely trees. That happens a lot in this game, fighting trees. So, because this is a 2D platformer, we have the obligatory water level. We just have to get through this. It's not too annoying. Especially with Meta Quick, we can get through here quickly. Oh, I completely forgot to use a Metaquick. Oh well. Ouch. Yeah, that knuckle joke can sometimes just completely destroy you. I'm not really used to doing this without Metaquick anymore, which is kind of bad. I'm just gonna heal for safety because I know I'm gonna take some damage. So we don't usually do this with Metaquick anymore. We usually just go through normally, but because I messed up, I have to improvise a little bit, which is fine. This is another Fatty Wheel. This Fatty Wheel has a little bit more health, so I need to deal a little bit more damage before we can use Mach Tornado on it. And kill it instantly, which is nice. Go. So this is a little bit of a door maze. Just have to go like to the right 3 times and you'll get to the boss. So Krakow in this case also has a little bit more health, so I can't kill him that quickly, but that was pretty much a perfect reaction to that pattern. Now this is probably the most annoying part. This is Hotbeat. It's also called the Destroyer of Runs. The lava deals a lot of damage and it stuns you for a good second or 2. So you really want to avoid getting hit by it at all costs. Oh, damn. That is actually one of the coolest mega jumps, if I nailed it. But I messed that one up. And I also don't have, like I said, a good second or two. Need to farm a little bit of points because there's a boss coming up, so I need to make sure I have enough points for that one. Yeah, okay, I'm getting hit a bit too much, but that's fine. I have done way, way, way worse on hot beats. Hot beat can be really annoying. So this is Chameleon Arm. It's a pretty cool boss. It changes color every time you fight him in a different section. So you have like blue ones, you have pink ones, you have green ones. It all depends. It's a pretty neat idea, especially because you fight these bosses so often. So in this section, which is also called Cavius, you basically fight a lot of mid-bosses. I like to call this the restoration area, where you just grab a lot of points back, and there's also a lot of health. Like right here. It makes life easy. It's like in the middle of this level, so that makes life pretty nice. Okay, and the final one. There's actually a pretty cool route change throughout Milky Way, which is that I actually don't do, mainly because I feel like it doesn't save enough time for the amount of trouble it gives you. But it's pretty awesome, and if properly executed, it might be faster. I'm still not sure. I still don't fully buy it. I'm very sorry, guest, but that's just me. So for a very long time, we thought that we had to go into these cannons to get through these blocks. But someone came around and was like, hey, you can just use the sword. And we were blown away. It's such a silly little thing that we never thought about trying. So for like a good 3.5 years, I didn't know that at all. It was really silly. Shoutouts to the Profane Glitch. He's been finding a lot of awesome strats in this game, and I love him to death for it. That was again something of a maze thing, but again I know exactly where to go to fight against Heavy Lobster again. So in the route change that I was talking about, we would actually have enough points to tornado Heavy Lobster right here, but I'm using my own older route, which is something I'm more familiar with, so we don't have enough points for it, but it works just fine. Need to focus a little bit on this section. Oh, that was perfect. That was absolutely beautiful. So that section is a little hard. The way the game somewhat intends you to go through it is by using a star, but using the star is a lot slower than just flying through it like that. I actually don't remember when the last time is I used a star. I've just been flying over it like that for years now. Ah, damn. Bad luck on Aaron Mam there. We got 32 points. I'm gonna go for it. So I was debating if I would use this meta quick. It saves a lot of time actually, even if you have to farm up a little bit. But I'm on perfect points already, so it doesn't lose too much time in this way. And then we get to fight against computer fighters again. This time we start with the magician, and we have like more enemies coming up. So this is Evil Knight. Actually, I have to go up a little bit further for this one to deal maximum damage in that combo. There we go. And we don't use Tornado until we fight against the Great Dragon, which has a lot of health. So going through it with just 100 damage chunks is just too slow, so we do 190 just like that. And we beat him. So the story of this game mode basically is, or right at the end I'm going to tell you the story, is that Meta Knight is trying to prove he's the strongest warrior in the galaxy. And he's now going to go to the wish-granting Comet Nova and ask to fight the strongest warrior in the galaxy, which is Galactonite. And has some awesome theme. And this is Galactonite. The fighting Galactonite is pretty easy, you just dash through him a lot, and after a couple of damage hits, he'll go to the middle and do moves like this. He can also shoot a laser when he goes to into the middle like that, but I think he's going to do that right now. Yep. So before he does his third one, we use a tornado. We can usually kill him before he goes into the middle again, which basically skips RNG, because on the third one he will... Oh, by the way, time. Sorry. I'm so used to in-game time that I forgot that that was the moment we enter race timing. Okay, cool. But yeah, you can skip like the final phase of him going for the RNG of either summoning minions or the laser, which of course the minions would be really slow, so it's nice to skip that. I'm gonna watch this little cutscene, and we're gonna see what my final in-game time was, which is the most important thing, because I went for the in-game time route. Let's see, 31:06 in RTA is okay. Nice, a sub 25. That's actually really good for a marathon run. I'm mighty pleased with that, actually. That is not a bad run. As you can see, my top time is the world record, so still like 50 seconds off, but it's fine. This is a good run, so yeah, I'm quite pleased. So anyways, enjoy the next run, and I will see you guys later.